I do find it interesting on your radio show. You are almost asked to defend whatever Stephen A. Smith says. Like, how do you allow that to happen, Chris? You're there when he says these things. So you feel like you're put in, I don't know if it's uncomfortable, but you're kind of asked to validate or discredit what Stephen A. says.
Yeah, it's tricky, and I love him. And Stephen A. is he's a big factor. He's the reason why I've had this little renaissance, and he's been great to me. So I don't want to hear it from my fans. But let's face it, you and I are doing sports talk. It's a different kind of audience. My fans, your fans have been following us for a long period of time. Normally, your fans, my fans, are not going to watch debate shows in the morning on TV. So, I don't think the TV fans listen to the radio, and I don't know if the radio fans watch the TV. So it's a little bit like, say, Boomer Esiason doing radio on WFAN in New York. His radio audience and his TV audience are two different things. So you have to juggle that. Furthermore, remember on ESPN, you do a lot of NBA. Now, better than anybody, even Olympic stuff. I do plenty of NBA, but in the middle of January, I'm not going to break down a regular season game between the Thunder and the T-Wolves. And on an ESPN, they will do that. And so I always get asked, Chris, how much NBA can you do on ESPN? Well, what do you want me to do? I don't handle the format. That's up to them. Chris, we're talking NBA today. We're talking NBA. I got to keep my mouth shut and figure out a way to do it. And again, I'm not going to do that on the radio.
Wait, have you fought the format? Have you been in those meetings where you go, oh, do we have to talk about Bronny James?
I'll tell you something. You'll be proud of me. You'll be proud of me.
All right.
I'll give you the perfect example. Yesterday, I said, guys, you have to give me a quick take. All right? What do you want to do, Chris? That little 1 minute thing? And I said, well, at first we're going to do Mets Yankees. And then I thought about it. No, do the quick take on Paul Skeens pitch in the ninth inning the day before. He came out in the ninth inning, 1-1 against St. Louis on 92 pitches. Give me that. So they gave me a 1 minute quick take on Paul Skeens. So I felt I made a contribution to the diversity and the versatility of TV sports talk by doing something. Now, how many times,
Dan, they
Dan,
gave you a minute, Chris?
A minute. I got a minute, but they had to highlight up. How many times, you would know better than anybody, would ESPN want to do something on Paul Skeens in the morning, in the middle of July, with football training camps and all that? Never a chance.
Never.
So I feel like I made a little contribution. It made me feel good.
Wow.
I take my little wins. When I can get them, Mr. Patrick.
But do you raise your hand and go, I can't talk about Bronny James anymore?
Oh, God, yeah.
Can we not talk about Aaron Rodgers today?
Rodgers is right now, you got to do some because obviously it's his first couple days of training camp and football moves. I'll give you a topic that I think we overdo. How many times can I talk about Dak Prescott's contract? Whether they pay him $55 million or $60 million. Who cares, for crying out loud? Let's watch the games. So I have to do some of that. And those are topics that we don't normally do on the radio, on a day-in basis. But I'll tell you, Dan, something that's interesting, especially this time of the year, and you know how hard it is to do sports talk necessarily this time of the year. A lot of times I use what I did in the morning on the Tuesdays or the Wednesdays, and I will use that for the radio as content to fill 15 minutes.
Yeah.
For instance, the other day I opened up this radio show with NFL storylines. Where did I get that idea? Well, we had done that on the first take.
Yeah.
So sometimes I try to, and I figure my radio audience didn't see me on the first take. So what difference is, and the first take people who watched it don't have Sirius XM on channel 82. So to me, it's almost like I use one topic to pacify two audiences. You've been there.
Yeah.
You try not to be repetitive, but you got to make sure that the one audience that you know what they like and the other audience, you know what they like. So you try to handle it both ways.